So good morning students, today we shall start a new lesson, that is Mughal Empire. So in our last classes we learned about the Delhi Sultans, how the Sultans of Delhi captured India and how they ruled over many years, right? So in this chapter we shall learn about the Mughal Empire, and the Mughal Empire began after the ending of the Delhi Sultanate. Okay, after the disintegration means after the breaking down of the Delhi Sultanate, the Mughal Empire started. Okay, now who were the kings of Mughal Empire, then how they succeeded over the Delhi Sultans, we shall learn in this chapter, and how they rule over India. So the Mughal Empire, they started ruling over India from the 16th century AD. Okay. The word Mughal means Mongol in Persian. The term refers to the origin of Mughals. They were descendants of Genghis Khan. So you learn about the Genghis Khan. Genghis Khans were the Mongols, right? They wanted to capture India. So these Mughals are the descendants of those Mongols only. Okay, the Mughals are actually the Mongol people who came from the Central Asia. The term refers to the origin of Mughals. They were descendants of Genghis Khan. So these people who ruled from 16th century AD were the people who ruled after the disintegration of Delhi Sultanate, who ruled over Mongol tribe, China and Central Asia. Genghis Khan ruled over these places. Okay, then come Timur. After Genghis Khan, Timur came, right? The ruler of Iran, Iraq and Turkey. So these people, Genghis Khan ruled over these areas, then Timur ruled over these areas, and again the next king came after Timur was Babur, and managed to establish their rule on account of political situation prevailing in the country at the time. There was no strong ruler at the center of power to turn them away from India. So soon after the disintegration of Delhi Sultanate, these kings came because there were no other kings to suppress them, to overcome them. Therefore, these people succeeded over the Delhi Sultanate. While the early sultans of Delhi had managed to bring large part of subcontinent under one rule, India at the time of Mughal invention in the 16th century AD presented a completely different picture. Earlier, under Delhi Sultanate, how they ruled over India, they used to capture the whole India. There was one king, and that king used to rule over whole India. They used to keep India together. Okay, but after the breaking of Delhi Sultans, the rule was completely different. Okay, the rule of Timur, Babur and Genghis Khan are completely different from the Delhi Sultanate. And how were they? We shall learn here. The process of disintegration of the Delhi Sultanate had begun towards the end of the Tughlaq rule. So Tughlaq rule came after the Tughlaq dynasty, right? Tughlaq dynasty came after that slave dynasty. Then Tughlaq dynasty, the process of disintegration of the country started from the end, towards the end of the Tughlaq rule. It was hastened further by Timur invention. So after Tughlaq rule, towards the ending of the Tughlaq rule, the process of breaking down of the country started. The countries were broke down into different lands. Their disintegration started. Then in Timur's invention, again the land were divided of India. By the time the later sultans such as Saids and the Lorids came to power, the sultanate had shrunk considerably in size. So sultanate, after capturing after invading India by the Saids and the Lorids, when they came to power, the size of the land again become smaller. So now we have different states in India. Because of all this disintegration, we have different states in India. Okay. The authority later sultans barely extended beyond Delhi and some neighboring regions. The rest of the subcontinent was under the rule of independent states. So, India was the Indian subcontinent was divided into different lands, right? Under the rule of independent states, they also this when the Mughal came to power, they rule over different lands of India, right? Then again there were some independent states like Bengal, Sindh, Jaunpur, Mewar, Malwa, Gujarat, Khandesh and Kashmir. They were ruled over by the independent rulers. Okay, they don't depend on other rulers. They didn't depend on other rulers. They used to rule their states by their own. The south and the Deccan were controlled by the two powerful kingdoms of Vijayanagar and Bahmani. So, the southern part and the Deccan were controlled by two powerful kingdoms of Vijayanagar and Bahmani. The Mughals not only managed to establish a pan-India empire. Now, what is pan-India empire? Pan means presence over nation. Okay, presence all over nation. They had their rule, they had their control all over the nation, not only in small area. They didn't have their control only over a small area. They used to have control over all India. Presence across nation. Okay, pan means presence across nation. So Mughals not only managed to establish a pan-India empire but also keep it under one rule for more than 200 years, which was a remarkable achievement. So their control was not over whole India, and also they succeeded in ruling over India for 200 years. Okay, earlier medieval rulers had rarely managed to establish pan-India rule, and if so, only for a short period of time. The rule of Mughal had a lasting impact on the Indian subcontinent, its politics, society and culture. Their system of administration and ideas of governance continued long after their rule. So, like the other medieval rulers, they were completely different. The early rulers didn't used to have pan-India rule. Pan means, presence all over nation. So they succeeded, the Mughals succeeded to control all over India, and their rule lasted over 200 years. Okay, so from when did the Mughal rule started? We shall learn from here. It will start from here. So the first ruler to rule over India was Babur. That is from 1526 AD to 1530. He was the first ruler who came from Central Asia to invade India. He captured India. He was the first powerful ruler who started the Mughal Empire. So who was Babur? He was the son of one of the rulers of. He was the son of. His father was a descendant of Timur. Okay, means his father was a person from the Timur's rule. And he was the son of one of the Timur's rulers, and his mother was one of the descendant of Genghis Khan. Okay, so his father was also a very powerful ruler from Timur's time, and then his mother was also a descendant of Genghis Khan, right? Towards the end of 15th century AD, he succeeded to throne of Fargana. So he became the king of Fargana towards 15th century AD. It was the end of 15th century AD. Okay, and Fargana is located in Uzbekistan. So he became the king of Fargana towards the end of 15th century AD. So at that time he was only 12. His age was only 12 when another group of Mongols known as Uzbeks invaded Fargana. So as you know, Uzbekistan, Fargana is located in Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan is a name of a country located in Central Asia. So he was the king of Uzbekistan, who Babur was the king. So when he was the king, he was very small, right? So he could not have much power, so that he can rule over a country. Therefore, some Uzbeks of Uzbekistan invaded Fargana, and he was thrown off from his power. He was removed from his power, as he was not a powerful king to succeed over Uzbeks. Okay, he was forced to leave the province, so he left over the area. After moving from place to place for nearby a decade, he finally managed to siege Kabul in AD 1504 and turned his attention towards India. So after he left the province, he finally, after decade, some years, he became powerful and he captured Kabul. Kabul is not in India, it is outside India, okay. He finally succeeded to capture Kabul, and his next target was India. He wanted to capture India. So as India was very powerful, it was when he wanted to rule India, it was Ibrahim Lori who was ruling over India. He is one of the descendants of Delhi Sultanate. Ibrahim Lori is one of the Delhi Sultans. So now, to become to gain control over India, Babur need to succeed over Ibrahim Lori, right? So what he did, there were two people, okay. Their name was Rana Sanga and Daulat Khan Lori. These two people helped Babur to control over India. Okay, why they helped? You will know it later on, I will say you. These two people helped Babur to defeat Ibrahim Lori. Babur's initial invasion into India met with little success, but things changed in AD 1526 during the rule of the last Delhi Sultans, Ibrahim Lori. Ibrahim's rule was marked by a number of rebellions. So when Ibrahim Lori was the king, so he had to face many problems, many rebellions he had to face. He was also involved in a conflict with the ruler of Mewar, Rana Sanga. So Rana Sanga and Daulat Khan Lori wanted to push the king. Okay, they wanted to gain power over the king, the Delhi Sultan, that was Ibrahim Lori. Therefore, they wanted to capture India, and they were fighting together at that time. Besides, Ibrahim Lori was quite unpopular with his nobles, who began to plot against him. Finally, one of the Ibrahim's noble, Daulat Khan Lori, who was the governor of Punjab, and Rana Sanga invited Babur to invade India and help them overthrow Ibrahim Lori. As you know, he was very powerful and he captured Kabul, right? Who was very powerful to capture Kabul? Babur was very much powerful to capture Kabul, right? And he became the king of Kabul. So these two people, as they could not defeat Ibrahim Lori, they thought of inviting Babur to India to fight against Ibrahim Lori. Therefore, they invited him to India. But at last, what happened? These two people also get defeated by Babur. Babur gained control over whole India. He became the king, and these two people had to defeat later by Lori. They also faced many problems. Okay. So after that, the first battle of Panipat started. The forces of Ibrahim Lori and Babur met in Panipat in AD 1526. The Sultan's large army proved no match for a smaller but better organized force of Babur. Babur's army also had more advanced weapons, including artillery and firearms, with which Lori's forces were unfamiliar. So, how the first battle of Panipat was the incident when finally Ibrahim Lodi was defeated by Babur. Okay, and how he was defeated? The forces of Ibrahim Lodi and Babur met in Panipat. The battle took place in Panipat, and that battle of the last Delhi Sultan, that is Ibrahim Lodi and Babur, was known as the Battle of Panipat. The Sultan's large army proved no match for a smaller. So Sultan's large army proved no match for the smaller but better organized forces of Babur. His army was not that powerful as that of Babur's army. So they got defeated. And that was all about that's all about first battle of Panipat. Okay, how they got defeated by the forces of Babur. All this you will get here. So read this paragraph. The first battle of Panipat is considered historic as it ended the rule of Delhi Sultans. So the first battle of Panipat was the starting where they ended the rule of the Delhi Sultanate and brought Delhi and Agra under Babur's control. It also made Babur's quite rich. He seized considerable wealth from Lodi's possessions in Agra. Okay. So next day we shall learn about the battle of Khanua and the battle of Chanderi. All these are the battles that took place between the people who helped Babur. Who helped Babur? Rana Sanga, Daulat Khan Lodi. These were the people who helped Babur to bring him to India, right? But later on, their only battle started. The battle started between these peoples only. So we shall learn this in our next classes. Okay, I shall explain you. So till then, read the lesson very clearly, because it is very important to read the lesson. Unless you read the lesson, you will not be able to understand. Okay, understand properly. Therefore, you have to read the lesson very clearly, and after becoming clear to this, then only we can proceed to the other lessons, okay, and other topics. Okay, so read the lesson. This is enough for today.